The windshield wipers fought a losing war against the snow. White sheets hurled themselves at the glass, dissolved, and were instantly replaced by more. Alexander Voss gripped the steering wheel of the Bentley as though it were the only solid thing left in the world. In the passenger seat, wrapped in his cashmere overcoat, 5-year-old Amelia burned with fever. Her small body shook with chills despite 3 layers of clothing. Every ragged breath she took felt like a knife twisting in his chest. "Daddy." "Cold," she whispered, lips almost blue. "I know, princess. We're almost there. Just hold on." But they weren't almost there. He had taken a wrong turn 40 minutes ago. Maybe longer. Time had melted into the storm, and the GPS had died along with the cell signal. The road had narrowed from highway to county route to something that barely qualified as paved. Now even that had disappeared, replaced by a track through dense pines that clawed at the car with icy fingers. He should have stayed in the city. Should have kept the private ambulance on retainer. Should have fired the maid the first time she left the terrace doors open in December. Should have. The list was endless. And every item ended with his daughter paying the price. Headlights caught a half-buried sign. Old Mill Lane. He didn't recognize the name. And he owned half the county. The car fishtail Ed. He overcorrected. Felt the rear wheels spin uselessly. For one terrifying second the Bentley hung sideways on the edge of a ditch. Then traction caught and he lurched forward again. Deeper into nowhere. Amelia began to cry. Soft, exhausted sobs that tore him open. Almost there. Baby. Daddy promises. He no longer knew what there even meant. Then, through the blinding white, a single golden square appeared. A lit window. A cottage, small and steep-roofed, sat alone at the end of what might once have been a driveway. Snow weighed heavy on the eaves. A thin ribbon of smoke rose from the chimney into the black sky. Alexander slammed the brakes. The car slid, stopped crookedly. He killed the engine, scooped Amelia into his arms, coat and all, and ran. Snow soaked his Italian loafers instantly. Wind cut through his tailored suit like tissue paper. Amelia's head lolled against his shoulder, too heavy for her neck. He pounded on the wooden door with the side of his fist. "Please. My daughter. She's sick. Please open." Quote. A long second. Another. Then bolts slid back and the door opened just wide enough for a woman's face. Early 20s. Dark hair in a messy braid. Gray eyes wide with alarm. She wore an oversized sweater and thick wool socks. "Please," he rasped. "She has a fever. 103. Maybe higher. The roads are blocked. I can't reach a hospital." The woman's gaze flicked from his snow-crusted hair to the child burning in his arms. Alarm shifted to calm decision. "Bring her in. Quickly." He stumbled over the threshold into warmth and lamplight. The cottage was tiny. One large room with a kitchen corner. A soot-blackened fireplace crackling merrily. A narrow staircase leading up. Herbs hung drying from the rafters. The air smelled of wood smoke and something medicinal. Eucalyptus. Perhaps. An old woman sat in a rocking chair by the fire. White hair in a long plait. Hands busy with knitting though her eyes were sharp as winter stars. "Grandma," the young woman said. "Already moving. We have a very sick little girl." The old woman took one look at Amelia and nodded. Sofa. Blankets in the chest. Alexander laid his daughter down as gently as if she were glass. Amelia whimpered. Her cheeks were scarlet, eyes glassy. The young woman knelt, pressed the back of her hand to Amelia's forehead. Then her neck. 103.8 at least. How long? Quote. Since 6. The maid left the terrace doors open. She was playing. By the time I got home. His voice cracked. He couldn't finish. "I'm a nurse," the young woman said, pulling a stethoscope from a drawer. "Off duty. But the kid's here." I'm Clara. That's my grandmother Ruth. Alexander, he managed. Amelia. She's 5. Clara listened to Amelia's chest. Frowned. Crackles in the lower lobes. Pneumonia starting. We bring the fever down fast. She moved with swift certainty. Filled a basin with snow from outside. Wrapped it in towels. Placed it around Amelia's calves. Brewed willow bark and honey. Coaxed sips between Amelia's lips while Ruth heated bricks and wrapped them for her feet. Alexander stood dripping melted snow onto the braided rug. Useless. Clara glanced up. Chair. Sit before you fall. He sank into it, hands shaking. He had closed 9-figure deals without blinking. But watching his daughter fight for breath undid him completely. Hours blurred. Steam. Murmured instructions. Cold compresses changed every 10 minutes. Clara sang a soft lullaby in a language he didn't know when Amelia cried. At some point the fever broke. Breathing eased. Amelia slept. Small hand curled around Clara's finger. Clara never let go. Alexander exhaled a breath held for years. Clara sat back. Wiped her forehead. She'll be all right. We caught it. Needs antibiotics. Though. Tomorrow I'll drive you in the truck. Plow comes at 6. He tried to speak. Couldn't. I don't. There's no way. Quote. Then don't, she said simply. She's a child. That's enough. Ruth snorted. Thank us by taking off those wet shoes before you ruin my floor. He laughed. Ragged. And towed off the ruined loafers. Morning brought sunlight and the smell of coffee. Downstairs. Amelia sat wrapped in blankets eating oatmeal while Clara made faces to coax another bite. Daddy. Amelia held out her arms. He knelt, gathered her close. She smelled of wood smoke and safety. Ruth pressed coffee into his hand. Road's clear. Eat first. They did. Oatmeal with raisins. Fresh eggs. Toast from yesterday's bread. Best meal of his life. Amelia chattered. Insisted Clara was a princess who chased fever away. Clara laughed. Low and warm. And something in Alexander's chest ached. Too soon they loaded into the ancient Ford. Clara driving. Amelia asleep in back. Halfway to the city he found his voice. You saved her life. Clara shrugged. I did what I was trained for. That's not. He tried again. People with your skills don't live in hidden cottages. She smiled faintly. Grandma needed me after her stroke. Hospital closed peds ward. I take shifts. But mostly I care for her. The land's been ours since 1892. It's home. They reached the hospital. Pneumonia confirmed. IV antibiotics started. By afternoon Amelia charmed nurses from her bed. In the corridor he found Clara reading in regular chairs. She had refused the private lounge. Come work for me, he said. Live in. Whatever salary. I can't risk her again. I trust you. Clara studied him. I'm not a nanny. You're whatever she needs. Please. Long pause. I have to ask Grandma. Ruth's answer. Don't be an idiot. The child needs you. The man looks half dead. Go. So Clara said yes. 3 days later she arrived at the coastal estate with one duffel. Stepped into marble foyer. Looked up at a chandelier worth more than her cottage. And froze. Amelia hugged her legs. You're home. Quote. Clara looked at Alexander. Eyes wide. You didn't tell me you were. You. He gave a sheepish half shrug. Thought you might say no. She exhaled a soft laugh. I probably would have. But she stayed. That first night, snow falling again outside vast windows. Clara tucked Amelia in. Alexander watched from the doorway. Something tight in his chest finally loosening. Amelia yawned. Clara, will you stay forever? Quote. Clara smoothed curls. As long as you need me. Sweetheart. Their eyes met over the small head. Neither looked away for a very long time. Outside, snow kept falling. Soft. Silent. Covering the world in a new beginning neither had planned. Some people, Alexander thought, are worth getting lost in a storm for. The first month passed in a hush of new routines. Clara moved into the East Wing with the quiet efficiency of someone used to making do. 1 duffel bag, 3 sweaters, a stack of nursing journals, and a framed photograph of Ruth standing beside the cottage in springtime. That was all she brought. The mansion swallowed her whole. Amelia, for her part, bloomed. The pneumonia left no lasting damage, only in the way she now clung to Clara's hand when they walked the long corridors. She called the mansion the castle, and Clara, my Clara, possessive and proud. Alexander watched them from doorways and staircases, afraid to breathe too loudly in case the spell broke. He told himself he was giving them space. The truth was simpler. He didn't know how to fit into the warmth they made together. Clara's official title was Private Pediatric Nurse and Household Medical Coordinator, but within a week every member of staff understood she was something else entirely. She reset the chef's dislocated shoulder without drama. She caught the gardener's early arrhythmia during a casual blood pressure check, and once talked a panicked junior maid out of a full-blown asthma attack using nothing but a paper bag and steady words. The household began orbiting her the way planets orbit a quiet, steady sun. Alexander orbited too, though he pretended otherwise. He left before dawn for the city and returned long after Amelia's bedtime. When he did appear, Clara was usually in the nursery reading stories in her low, lilting voice. He would linger outside the door, listening to his daughter's giggles, feeling like an intruder in his own house. One night he came home earlier than planned. The mansion was dark except for the soft glow under the nursery door. He found Clara asleep in the rocking chair, Amelia curled on her lap, both of them wrapped in the same blanket. Moonlight painted silver across Clara's cheekbones and the loose strands of hair that had escaped her braid. Something fierce and helpless rose in his throat. He carried Amelia to her bed, then hesitated over Clara. In the end he lifted her as gently as he once lifted his daughter. Surprised again by how solid and warm she felt, how trustingly she turned into his shoulder even in sleep, he laid her on the daybed in the adjoining sitting room, pulled a quilt to her chin, and stood there far longer than necessary, watching the rise and fall of her breathing. He left before she woke. The next morning she acted as if nothing had happened. Only the faint flush on her cheeks when their eyes met across the breakfast table told him she remembered. That was the beginning. Small moments accumulated like snowdrifts. The way she instinctively reached to straighten his crooked tie one morning, then snatched her hand back as if burned. The way he found himself timing his return so he could read Amelia the last bedtime story with Clara listening from the doorway. The way her laughter, rare, startled out of her, made the entire East Wing feel suddenly alive. And always, the careful distance they both pretended was professional. But the house had other inhabitants. Victoria Langford Voss, Alexander's stepmother, arrived unannounced on a slate-gray afternoon in early February, trailing perfume, lawyers, and the faint scent of menace. Victoria was 58, looked 40, and had the survival instincts of a particularly elegant shark. She had married Alexander's father when Alexander was 17, endured the old man for 12 profitable years, and now spent her widowhood guarding the Voss fortune with the devotion of a dragon on its hoard. She swept into the grand salon wearing sable and a smile sharp enough to cut glass. "Darling," she said, air kissing both his cheeks without touching skin. "You look exhausted. And who is this?" Quote. Her gaze slid past him to Clara, who had just entered carrying Amelia on her hip. "This is Clara Whitlock," Alexander said, "Amelia's nurse." Victoria's perfectly arched brow rose a fraction. "Nurse? How quaint." She extended one manicured hand. diamonds flashing. Victoria Langford Voss, dowager of the house, I suppose one might say. Clara shifted Amelia to the other hip and shook the offered hand with her usual calm. Pleasure, ma'am. Victoria's smile thinned. Charming accent. Local girl? Quote, born and raised 10 miles from here, Clara answered evenly. How patriotic. Victoria turned back to Alexander. I've come to discuss the spring board meeting. Certain irregularities have come to light regarding the trust distributions. Alexander felt every muscle tighten. Amelia chose that moment to reach out with sticky fingers toward Victoria's sable sleeve. Victoria stepped back sharply. Good heavens. Control your child. Alexander. Clara's arms tightened imperceptibly around Amelia. She's 5, she said quietly. Sticky fingers come with the territory. Victoria gave a brittle laugh and sailed toward the study, expecting Alexander to follow. That night Victoria stayed for dinner. She took up residence in the Rose Suite as if she had never left. And the temperature in the house dropped 10 degrees. Over the following weeks she struck in small, vicious ways. Snide remarks, sabotaged schedules, whispered poison. The breaking point came on a Tuesday in March. Alexander returned unexpectedly at noon to find Victoria in the nursery, towering over Clara while Amelia cowered behind her legs. You will pack your little bag and leave this house by tonight, Victoria was saying. Or I will have security escort you out for theft. Theft? Clara's tone was ice. Victoria held up a diamond bracelet. Found in your room this morning. Put it down. Victoria, Alexander said from the doorway. He crossed the room, took the bracelet, and dropped it into his pocket. I moved it myself. Clara has never been in that safe. For the first time in 15 years. Victoria hesitated. Get out of this wing. Now. That night Alexander had her removed from the estate for good. When he turned to Clara afterward, she said, you didn't have to do that for me. I didn't, he answered. I did it for us. Spring arrived suddenly that year. One night beneath the midnight cherry blossoms, with Amelia asleep in his arms, he finally told Clara the truth of what she meant to him. Her reply was a kiss so soft it barely existed, and yet changed everything. Above them the petals fell like quiet promises. Some people, Alexander thought, are worth getting lost in a storm for. Yet, the wedding was supposed to be small. Clara had said the words quietly one August evening while they lay on the wide balcony outside their bedroom. Amelia asleep inside, the ocean breathing below the cliffs. I don't need a circus, Alex. Just us. Ruth. A dress I can still breathe in. Maybe the garden at the cottage, where the lilacs are. He had kissed her temple and promised her the moon if she wanted it. But he would give her the quiet lilac garden first. Victoria made sure that never happened. The invitations, cream cardstock, gold foil, 300 names, arrived at the estate before breakfast the next morning. A note in Victoria's spidery handwriting was clipped to the top. Family tradition. Darling. One does not hide a Voss marriage in a woodshed. The cathedral is booked. The date is set. Try to look grateful. Clara read it once, folded it into a perfect square, and dropped it into the kitchen fire without a word. Then she went to find Amelia for her morning ride on the pony Alexander had bought because Clara once mentioned she'd loved horses as a child. Alexander, however, did not burn so easily. He flew to New York that afternoon and confronted Victoria in her penthouse overlooking Central Park. You will cancel it, he said. I will not, she answered calmly. Think of the optics. The markets are jittery. A lavish society wedding steadies nerves. That night he came home defeated and found Clara packing Amelia's suitcase. We're going to the cottage, Clara said quietly. Ruth isn't well. You're running. I'm choosing not to be bought, she answered. They left at dawn. Victoria's masterstroke came 10 days later. A national tabloid ran the headline: Voss heir to wed charity nurse in secret shotgun ceremony. Baby on the way? Quote, grainy photos. Lies sharpened into weapons. That evening Alexander found Clara on the porch swing. Ruth's quilt around her shoulders. I can destroy them in court, he said. You can't destroy the truth, she answered. I am pregnant. We are getting married. He was silent for a long moment. Then he said softly, marry me tomorrow. Here. No cameras. No Victoria. Just us. The next morning they married beneath the lilac arch. A sundress. A linen shirt. Emily scattering petals and grass with joy. And 2 mismatched rings sealing a promise. Victoria struck back through the boardroom. Alexander lost voting control of the Voss Trust. He came home pale. Clara looked at him and said, then we fight with truth. 3 weeks later Clara walked into the shareholders' gala 7 months pregnant on Alexander's arm. When asked about the rumors she said, there is nothing secret about love, only fear. By lunchtime the board surrendered. Victoria arrived at the cottage in the rain 2 nights later. I lost, she said quietly. Let the child carry the name without poison. Clara held out her hand. Victoria took it. Winter came early the year their son was born. Gabriel arrived at 3:17 a.m. Lungs strong enough to wake the ward. Alexander wept openly. Later, in the quiet room, he said, I had nothing until I got lost in that storm and you opened your door. And Clara answered, I had everything until you proved me wrong. Outside, snow fell clean and new. Years later Alexander would say, I didn't walk away from my empire. I finally found the road home. Because some storms don't destroy. Some storms simply clear the way. 10 years later, the first real snow of the season always came early to the coast. It began just after supper on a Thursday in late November. Soft at first, then thick and deliberate, as if the sky had decided to bury the world for safekeeping. Inside the old stone house, no longer called the estate by anyone who actually lived there. The windows glowed gold against the white. Alexander stood at the kitchen island slicing apples for pie. Sleeves rolled high, reading glasses slipping down his nose. The kitchen smelled of cinnamon and wood smoke. Amelia, 15 now, long-legged and fierce, was arguing with her 9-year-old brother Gabriel about whose turn it was to feed the horses. Before the drifts got too deep, Clara sat at the table nursing the youngest, 2-year-old Lily, while simultaneously braiding 6-year-old Rose's hair with her free hand. Ruth, white-haired and frail but still sharp as winter wind, rocked in the corner chair, knitting something the color of storm clouds. It looked, to any outsider, like perfect chaos. To Alexander, it was the only kingdom he had ever wanted to rule. Daddy, Rose announced. Gabe says the new foal is his because he named her. But I carried the water bucket, so half of her is mine. Gabriel rolled his eyes so hard Alexander feared they might stick. You carried 1 bucket, I carried 17. Children, Clara said without looking up. The foal belongs to the snow. Same as all of us. Amelia snorted. Deep. Mom. Very poetic. Also zero help. Alexander caught Clara's eye and grinned. 10 years of marriage. 4 children. 1 heart attack scare. His. 2 miscarriages. Hers. And the purchase of an entire pediatric wing at the county hospital in Ruth's name. And still the smallest tilt of her mouth could stop his heart. The phone rang. Old-fashioned landline. The one they kept for emergencies and for Ruth, who refused to learn anything that required a password. Amelia answered. Her face changed. It's Uncle Marcus, she said quietly. Alexander felt the temperature in the room drop 10 degrees. Marcus Langford was Victoria's nephew, her chosen heir after Alexander had quietly, surgically, removed every trace of her from the company a decade earlier. Marcus had spent those 10 years sharpening knives in the dark. Alexander took the phone. "Voss," Marcus said, voice smooth and poisonous. "I thought you'd like to know your stepmother passed this morning. Peacefully. I'm told. She left a letter. Addressed to you and your wife." Alexander's hand tightened on the receiver. "Send it. It's not that simple. The letter comes with conditions. She wants it read in person. At the penthouse. Tomorrow night. Bring Clara." The line went dead. Clara was already standing beside him. "Victoria?" she asked. "Dead," he said. The word felt strange in his mouth. Clara's face did not change. But her hand found the small of his back. Steady. Anchoring. "Then we go," she said. "Together." Ruth spoke from her rocker for the first time. "Take the children to the cottage. I'll keep them. Some ghosts don't need an audience." They drove into the city the next evening through heavy snow. The children safely ensconced with Ruth and enough cocoa to float a ship. The penthouse was exactly as Alexander remembered. Cold marble. Colder memories. Marcus greeted them wearing mourning black that somehow looked expensive. 2 lawyers flanked him like bookends. On the coffee table sat a single envelope. Victoria's spidery handwriting unmistakable. Marcus gestured to the sofa. "Sit. This won't take long." Clara sat first. Spine straight. Hands folded over the slight curve that meant child number 5 was already on the way. Though only the family knew yet. Alexander sat beside her, close enough that their knees touched. Marcus slit the envelope with theatrical care. Victoria's voice, recorded months earlier when cancer had finally caught her, filled the room. "If you're hearing this, I'm dead." "Good. I was tired of waiting." A pause. The rasp of oxygen. "Alexander. You won. I acknowledge it. The company is yours. The trust unbreakable. But I have one last gift." The lawyers shifted. "DNA results," Victoria's recorded voice continued, almost amused. "From a lock of hair taken from your daughter rose the last time she visited the city with her nanny. Congratulations. She's not yours." The world tilted. Alexander felt Clara's hand clamp down on his thigh hard enough to bruise. "Rose," the recording went on, "is the biological daughter of your former driver, Daniel Carter. I paid him well to seduce your wife during that charity trip to Nairobi 3 years ago. He was quite convincing." Alexander's vision tunneled. The recording ended with Victoria's papery laugh. "Considerate interest on the inheritance you stole from me." Silence rang like a gunshot. Marcus looked almost sorry. "There are documents. Affidavits. The originals are in a phone call away. Publish or bury. Your choice. But the world will know by morning either way." Alexander stood slowly. "You plan to release this at her funeral?" Quote. Marcus shrugged. Aunt Victoria believed in dramatic timing. Clara rose too. Calm. Terrifyingly calm. "May I see the results?" Quote. She closed the folder. Then looked at Marcus with winter in her eyes. "We're leaving." In the elevator down, Alexander's hands shook. "Rose is ours," Clara said. "Blood doesn't change that." Back at the cottage, Rose slept with one small foot outside the blanket. Alexander covered her gently and kissed her hair. "But you're still my daddy?" she asked. "Forever." "Then I don't want the test," Rose said. "I already know who my family is." Spring came fierce and sudden. On the ridge of lupine, the children buried painted stones with their names. Years later, hikers would find the stones still there. They said if you listened on a snowy night you could hear laughter, fire, and a little girl whisper, "Mommy fixes fever. Daddy fixes everything else. You're safe now. And you always will be."